This is my daughter Stephanie.
Hi, my name is Stephanie and I'm 18, just finished high school. I started at a new school, which is scary enough as it is. And then from that developed a really unhealthy relationship that made me feel very isolated and very down. And it affected everything because we were at school together. I spent a lot of my free time with them. So every aspect of my life was almost taken over by the poor treatment from them. I was never really honest with Mum about how bad it was. A lot of people made me feel as if what I was concerned about wasn't that big of a deal. And looking back on it, it was.
The signs that I would say that I saw was probably so much more crying at night time. And then she sort of stopped wanting to go to school. And she's like, I don't want to be there, And I'm like, there's something not right here. And then she started not wanting to go to parties, and I don't want to go here. I'm like, okay, this is weird. It was just, I don't know, little things like that. Yeah, I just noticed that, the mainly bubbly person just wasn't there. She was just grumpy, sad. So thinking about having conversations with her, I know one of my things was I'd go for a walk and I'd kind of plan out a scenario in my head of how I was going to do this. Never goes the way that you want it to. When we joke and jibe and all that sort of stuff. So I knew that that's a way to break the ice. And I know that having that conversation is really hard. I would have to force stuff out of her. So to bring the lighter side into it by being playful, she could understand that I was there from a place of good and we are going to muck around. And then when I got down to the heavy stuff, it was like, okay, I'm comfortable, we're okay. And then she was able to sort of open up and go, I don't think this relationship's good for me. And I'm like, all right, so what's the dream scenario for you? How do we get out of this? What steps can we put in place? And how do I help you do that?
And coming to realise that if I hadn't have said anything at all, everything would have been 10 times worse. And especially with school. And coming to the end of the year, my teachers noticed that there was less work coming from me and I was at risk of not passing this year. And then things kind of got fixed, patched up, I got everything I needed, and now I've graduated.
There's been many bumps in the road. There's been times where I haven't reacted well at all, and I know that. I was feeling crappy. So she copped it because I'm like, you just need to get out of bed. You just need to do this. You just need to do that. And I walked away and I went for a walk and I'm like, what are you doing? This is not helpful. And so I took that time, went back in and I went, I am so sorry. I think owning that you made a mistake, owning that you didn't handle it well, because you're not going to handle it well all the time. You've got everything else going on in your life as well. With everything that she's been through, I see the strength and the resilience. There's days where she doesn't want to get out of bed, but she gets out of bed. I would say to family and friends, be persistent, but you've got to have the hard conversations. You've got to push just to get that little bit more. But I think the biggest thing for me is don't go in there thinking that you're going to fix it. You ride that wave and go through that journey alongside them, just holding their hand. That's all you can do, and let them know that you're there.